Happy late 1 year anniversary, Abarth. Bought this car on July 22nd, 2018. Today is August 31st, 2019. Bought the car with 34,500 miles. Now it has 44,384, so just under 10,000 miles put on this car in a year and a month, 13 months. So let's talk about the bad first. It's always fun to talk about the good, but I can't be a total fanboy. I gotta talk about the bad a little bit. So the things wrong with this car when I got it, I think there's two light bulbs, one on this side and one on this side. The light bulb for this has always been a little iffy. Sometimes at night this isn't lighting up, so you just gotta tap it and then it'll turn on. Pretty minor. Another minor problem, this armrest was broken when I bought it. Really cheap plastic, so it's all disintegrated, so I never got around to fixing or replacing this. But this car is pretty skinny, so I just put down the passenger side armrest, and there you go, I got a armrest right there. What else? Oh, steering wheel column cover. I just barely need this like last week, and now it's all loose. It doesn't rattle when I drive, but if I move it, yeah, you could hear it and see it moving around. So really cheap plastic. And then a couple months ago, this developed right here. It started rattling here, like if I drive with the windows rolled down and the road is really rough, that you could hear it rattle around this area. So just really cheap plastic. That's the theme of this car. It's really cheaply built. So that's the bad. Oh, and then I always have 3M tape with me because the body panel started separating a little bit. I'll show you guys that right now. If you look closely, you can see the 3M tape start from here and end right here. I should have cut it just a little longer and let it end there. But you gotta really look close to tell. But yeah, this part started sticking out about an inch, so it started separating up here. I read that's a common problem. So shout out to 3M tape. That happened like 8 months ago, and this 3M tape has been holding for like 8 months. I didn't think it would hold through the winter, through the rain, through the summer right now. So there you go. And then another cheap thing about this car is right here. This is cheap. This little cover right here. See how badly it's sagging? See, if I lift it up. Well, since I took it off, this piece right here, it's $100. No thanks. I don't need to replace it that much, so this is what I do. See how it's sagging right now? I just lift it a little bit, and now it's flush with the seat, but it'll eventually go like that again when I go over a bump or something. So that's really cheap. So just a lot of cheap parts in this car. Not the car's fault. I bought the car knowing it's small, but yeah, it's not a 4-seater. Don't use this car as a 4-seater. It's a 2-seater or a 1-seater with a lot of room. Not a lot of room, but you could fit bags in there. So it's a 2-seater with room. Put bags there, put stuff here. So I was gonna do the rear seat delete, but I just want to keep it original, so I'm not gonna do the rear seat delete. And then for a little car, it does have pretty good space. Little space here to put stuff in. Door pocket right there. Of course, door pocket, same door pocket, and little space on the other side. Only one 12-volt socket, so I put a triple socket right here. It's pretty dark. See, I put in a triple socket in there along with my emergency 3M tape, just in case that body panel comes apart again. I always have it. Auxiliary port, USB port, 2 cup holders, good enough for a can or a small bottle, and they're deep enough so it won't tip out or anything. And then you got 2 cup holders in the back, about about the same size as the one in the front. It's not the most comfortable car. I wouldn't say it's uncomfortable. Of course, a bigger car is going to be comfortable on a road trip, which I'm on right now, road tripping right now. But I had a 1994 Geo Metro. This car is a lot more comfortable than that car. It's comfortable enough. Before I get back on the road, here's an outside shot of the car. Good looking car. I really like how these cars look. One of the reasons why I bought one of these. This has been my daily driver for more than a year now. Multiple road trips. I've had a lot of fun with it. Probably the perfect daily driver. Great fuel economy, good power. It's not the fastest car out there, but it's good enough. And one of the main reasons I bought it, besides looks, I mean, I bought it for two reasons: the looks and the sounds. And then bonuses, of course, the resale on these cars aren't very good. And I do like the simple dash. I like how it has rotary knobs. I like the simple dash for a 2015 car. This is a really simple dash. And of course the sound. Gotta talk about the sound. Sport mode. I mean, it does have a trip computer, of course. 38.1 mpg right now. 226 miles traveled. It shows travel time. It gives you stats. The rear driver's side tire looks like it needs air. G meter. It even has a G meter. Rev it up. It's good sound. One thing I don't like about this car, since we talked about that already, it's a slow revving car, and it would be really cool if it revved up to like 7 or 8 grand, but only 6,500. That's all it does. And it revs slow, so slow revving. Wish it did 7 or 8 grand, but sounds really good still. Alright, let me head back out on the road here. But I remember I didn't get to show this part. See how this is all lit up and this is not? All you have to do is do this. There it is. So that I was talking about that earlier. Another positive about this car, the sound. Freeway entrance. .30-mile-per-hour turn, doing it at 50. Probably could have did it a little faster than that. That never gets old. If you're watching this right now, which you are, I deem this footage acceptable. Freeway seems smooth enough right now, so this video shouldn't be too choppy, this section. Let's talk about more pros and cons here. The main con is build quality, really cheapy plastic. You saw the lower side skirt was starting to, well, I 3M taped it, but that was starting to separate. That's really sad for a mass-produced car in 2015, which this car was made in, probably 2014 as a 2015 model, but still 2014 with that build quality is really sad. Really cheap plastic. Like I said, I barely need the steering column cover, and I broke the little tabs where it screws on, so it's really loose now, but you can't hear it right now at least. That minor electrical problem in the light bulb where the climate control is, you have to tap it sometimes to get it to light up. Pretty minor. So hopefully nothing else happens to this car that's major. It just has a few little quirks right now. But it's a cheap car, especially in the used market. Brand new, it's 22 to 29 grand. Looking at my car, it looks like a base model Abarth. So I'll say this car was a $22,000 car. 3 years old with 34,000 miles. I got it for 12. So almost half off for a 3-year-old car.
That's big depreciation right there. If I had the money, I definitely would have bought it brand new, because, you know, I never owned a new car before, and 22 is pretty cheap, but 12 is even cheaper. Used market, I was looking at, last year I was looking at 2013s with 88,000 miles, 80,000 miles, that range. They were about 7-8 grand. I decided to spend a little more on a newer, lower miles car. So they're cheap cars, brand new and used market. Another pro, the ride. I thought this car would ride a lot rougher than it really does, because, you know, it's the tuned version, it's the Abarth version, the performance version, you know, slightly lower, you know, better handling. So I thought it was going to ride really bad with a short wheelbase, but the ride's fine. It's not that bad. I don't even think it's terrible. It's just not a big car. It's a little car, so it's going to be somewhat choppy. It's okay. I must be maturing, because the fact that the ride is pretty good, I don't want to lower it, even though lowering it will make it look nicer and handle better. I'm just maturing, man. I just want to leave it as is. It rides nice enough. It handles great as is. I'm just going to keep it as is. I'm not going to put a bigger turbo. I'm not going to mod it. I'm not going to chip it. I might add a blow-off valve. That's it. But I just want to keep it pretty original. I don't even want to do a rear seat delete kit, even though I could use the extra room and, you know, lose the 30 pounds or whatever the seat weighs. So I'm not gonna mod it. And like I said earlier, it's fun to drive. I like that mine's a manual and not an automatic, and there are plenty of manuals available out there. Con, it's a 5-speed. It would have been nice if it was a 6-speed. If it was a 6-speed, it probably would get even better fuel economy, but I don't think they could fit a 6-speed in this car. I want to say the automatic is a 6-speed, but the automatic isn't faster, and the automatic doesn't get better fuel economy than the manual version. So yeah, I think this is the perfect daily driver. I mean, the worst fuel economy I get is 25 mpg, and that's redlining it at every light, through every gear. I'll still get 25 mpg. On average, I get 27 to 29. Road trips, I could get 44, as you saw. My record's 46. Road trips anywhere from, yeah. What's the worst I ever done on this road trip? 39. Right now it's reading 36.7. It'll go up as this road trip gets longer. That's a cool car. I'm really happy with it. A year later, I don't want to get rid of it. It's a car I want to keep. And if you're looking for a fun daily driver, this is the one. This is a car to have, I think. Especially if you're watching this video, you're probably interested in this car, or you really like my videos, and if you do, I appreciate it. That's the Abarth happy late anniversary video.